I look forward to, seeing more content from yourself, which gives support to the industry. And I
Mhm.
wish there were more individuals such as yourself who are going out there, risking, putting your face out there and say, hey,
Yeah.
look, this is where the industry is at right now. This is what needs to be done. Right. I hopefully your message doesn't go out in vain. And I am with you 100% in terms of your message, getting the information out there, because people need to know,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and those who work in the industry themselves, they also need to know
Absolutely. Yeah, because cars aren't going away.
they aren't
We're gonna
going
have to
away.
fix them no matter what. We
Yes.
might, and people that work in this industry have a passion for it. I've worked on cars since I was a teenager,
Mhm.
so I have a real heart for this kind of thing. And most people in the industry do. They have a basic interest to learn as much about cars and customer service as they did. So it's really hard to see, and I've seen so many of my friends walk away from the industry just due to the constraints they had in their personal lives, the toxicity. They just couldn't handle it anymore. They were changing who they were as a person because they were just miserable all the time. But this is what they love to do. They just
Yeah.
can't find a good capacity to do it in. So I'm hoping that eventually we can breathe enough fresh air into this industry and make a real change.
Yes, definitely. Because when you look at the statistics, especially here in Canada, we go to Statistics Canada, there's over 35 million cars registered on the roads over here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's more units than people who actually live in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, are almost the same. And then you break it down into cars, trucks, buses, tractors,
Right.
trail. They all need a mechanic to work on them,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then out of that 35 million, you have at least 26, 27 million that are currently running on the roads. So
Yeah.
you go anywhere, they all need to be serviced. And then, like I said, every 3 years, every 4 years, a new model comes out. And then you have used car lots, and then you do have this dynamic now coming in with electric cars, EVs. And there
Yes.
was there was a report coming out now that a lot of customers are complaining they want to buy a used EV, but at the same time, no, they have to be going back to the dealer to service these items, because the regular mechanic on the street in the garage has his own
Mm-hmm.
shop. He doesn't have the technology yet to service these cars, right? So it's going
Yeah.
to be, yeah, it's going to be what I call it now, trying to find the correct word. It's going to be a chain reaction of what the industry is going to be in the next 5 years. And now the schools here have to be catching up to be training students, apprentices on how to work on these cars, right?
Yeah. Because
So
they're essentially training IT personnel. Every car has like 23 computers on it.
mhm,
That never used to be the case in the past. And you got to learn, I actually learned binary code and stuff like that in my own
yeah,
personal training. You had to learn a lot about how these processes work as far as software goes. Because a lot of the issues we're finding, especially in new cars, is software issues. And a
yes,
lot of the issues actually don't even have fixes from the manufacturer yet. I can replace the component. I can take the hard drive out of this computer and replace it. The problem is going to remain because the problem is inside that hard drive. And I
yeah.
can't get that fixed until the manufacturer offers a fix. And that's really hard to explain to people sometimes, is that it's a software issue. It has
Mhm.
nothing to do with a physical, tangible component.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the problem that we're seeing in vehicles nowadays in the modern vehicle.
You're so right. You're so right. I drive a Chevy Cruze, and every time a light comes up, I'm so far. What the hell I'm gonna be doing now? I have to
You
call.
never
Yeah, I
know.
have to call the dealership. They say, okay, bring it back in, and it's just a plug and play. Plug the
Yeah.
scanner in, and they download something. Okay, you're good to go. You drive another 3, 4 months, another light comes on. Then you
Yeah.
get a message. Oh, a new software is to be updated, and then you have to bring it in again. I'm like, yo, if I can't work on a car in my own garage, it doesn't
Right.
doesn't make
Yeah.
sense. But we're moving away from that
It's
because
a
of,
thing of the past.
yeah, because of all this environmental issue that is going on. So I mean, it's constantly evolving, but it is what it is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and just moving into tomorrow. That's the whole thing, is training the people so that they're ready to handle today, tomorrow, and so on and so forth. Because the industry is always going to be here, but it's never going to be the same as what it was. It's not going to be the same tomorrow as what it is today. It's always going to be a constantly chaining. The training never stops.
Never
You're
stops. Yeah,
learning new things every single day because new things are coming out every single day.
definitely so. But in closing, what message would you have like for the younger generation coming in? Because what I find happening is a lot of the younger individuals, like, high school persons leaving high school right now,
Mhm.
the 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 registration, the recruitment is down getting into the industry.
Yeah.
So what would you say to if you walk into a high school and you want to recruit apprentices coming in or new mechanics coming in, what encouragement would you give to them?
Coming into the industry right now, just deep breaths. It's a frustrating industry. It really is. I mean, working on a car or working with customers alone can be a very frustrating situation. And then when you don't have support of management and you're working in an industry that's as difficult to work in as the automotive industry, sometimes it seems like the whole world's against you. Technicians, like as a service advisor, technicians are mad at me right now because they're not getting their time. I'm bothering parts about parts that haven't come in yet. All of my customers are upset with me right now because I don't have answers for them because the
Yeah.
other two components aren't speaking. So deep breaths and just always stay positive and communicate. And whoever's been doing it there for the longest or been doing it for a long time has been a veteran in the industry. Take notes and just listen to what they say. That's a lot of how I learned. There's a lot of great service advisors I've gotten to work under or with at my various dealerships. And I took a piece of each and one of every
Yeah.
one of those and I conveyed that into my own customer service skills. And it worked out very well for me. So don't be afraid to take a couple of hints from the guys and girls that have been doing it for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, that is quite encouraging. And one of the things I also reiterate on my channel is that the it doesn't stop at being a mechanic. You can branch off into other areas, right? You can become an
Yeah.
aviation mechanic. You can become a marine mechanic. You
Oh
can,
yeah, possibilities are endless.
yeah, possibilities are endless. You can become one of the most in-demand mechanic right now, which is a elevator mechanic with all these skyscrapers going up and
Yes.
condos going up on a regular basis. There is a shortage of elevator mechanics. So, I mean, the sky's the limit where it's concerned, but you have to put the work in.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's step one. And that with the new generation, it's very instantaneous. I can take this right here and I can get any answer or do anything or talk
Yeah.
to anybody in the world that I want to right now. And that's a big problem with the new generation is everything is so instantaneous to them that we need to be at the top of the totem pole wherever we work right now. But it
Right
takes
now.
several years of work and dedication. Imagine taking several years of work of dedication just to be able to send a text message
Yeah.
or look up something on Google.
Mhm.
Back in the day, you had to read it. You had to look it up. You had to go to the library, find
Yeah.
the book you want to do, go to the
Mhm.
right aisle. There's more work involved.
Yeah.
So it's trying to communicate the fact that the work industry is still hard work and dedication for the years and years and years of your practice, whereas everything else is very instantaneous. And bridging that gap, I think, is part of what we have to do.
Yes, definitely. Well, Chris, I don't want to hold it too long. I really thank you for your time.
Yeah.
To come on my channel and express all of this, because all of what you just said is just pure facts, pure unadulterated facts. And I do hope to invite you again to come and
Love to.
yeah, and speak about the things that are happening in the industry, and please continue to be an advocate for what we want to do, and hopefully the leadership in the various dealerships actually take note of what our concerns are. Because let me just add before I go, one of the things about my training is that we used to have a thing called a CRU. Back in the Caribbean, what we will do, a group of us as managers, we'll call it island hopping. We'll travel from Jamaica to Trinidad, from Trinidad to Barbados to Grenada to Antigua, right across into Miami. And we'll also go outside of the region to other dealerships. And what we did was we came together as a group of managers, look at each other's dealerships, and we give advice and information while making presentation of where we were and where we are now. And what we did was we implemented benchmarking and best practices in order to move forward. I don't know if that is still going on. I haven't been in touch with them for quite a while, but one of the things I've seen falling off is best practices. And that's what you mentioned earlier about learning from the ones before you, the service advisor. You take a little from here, I take a little from there, and then you incorporate it and make it work. So one of the things I saw coming here to North America, that part of it is missing at the top. A guy comes in at the top, and then they have to send them all the way to Washington or to New York to do training. And I'm saying, but this guy should have already been, trained in certain aspects of the job already.
Sure.
Right? So that is one of the reasons why we're struggling to get all the departments synchronized and running as a well-oiled machine, because we're all over the place. And until we have the right leadership in place, we'll continue to be chasing our tails. But that's just my opinion anyway.
No, I agree 100%. If you have all of your managers of each department on the same page, there's cohesion at the above levels, which means there's cohesion at the bottom levels. I mean, everything kind of rolls down the hill of the chain of command. And if your managers aren't working together, that means they haven't bridged the gap of processes and procedures between my advisors and your parts people, or my advisors and your technicians for like a shop foreman. If I haven't bridged those gaps, there's no way for my employees to cross, which means there's a gap, there's a chasm, which means communication breaks down, productivity breaks down, and ultimately the one person that suffers the most is the person that's trying to spend money at your dealership or your shop or whatever, which is the customer.
Yes. And that also, they could also institute cross-functional training where, I spend a week in the service department, the service advisor spend a week in the parts department.
Yes, I love cross-training. Yes, 100%. Yes. A lot of my people will tell you a lot of my success, and I don't know if it is or not, but the technical knowledge I gained from actually working as a technician with wrenches, the knowledge I learned working as a parts professional and ordering parts and understanding how that part of the system works, all played a role into my success as a service advisor. Just understanding holistically the entire process, because you only know your part of the pie, you don't know the pie.
Yes, I know. And your content speaks volume to that. So that's why I love it so much. But Chris, thank you very much for taking the time out to come on my channel. I really do appreciate it. And I will continue to watch and support your content on TikTok.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate what you do as well. People like you and me and others that are going to start following suit, and there's some others out there right now, we're eventually going to breathe that fresh air into this industry. I'm sure of it.
Definitely. Looking forward. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll talk.
Brother. Thank you. Have a good one, bro.
Okay, same to you. Bye.
Yep.